Computer, and here we go. We're recording.
Hey guys. Tonight we're going to talk about Shakeology, and I will start with how I started drinking it. And I really didn't know a lot about Shakeology. I just saw that everyone was drinking it, and I decided that I wanted to try it too because everyone else was drinking it. One of the reasons that I kind of wanted it was because when I work, I'm on mat leave right now, I would get up at 5:45. I was home by 2:30 in the afternoon. So I start eating really early in the morning. So my afternoons, I was starving. And I would come home and I would be just wanting anything that was in the cupboard. So chocolate covered granola bars and chips or crackers or anything. So I kind of wanted Shakeology to have that. I was getting chocolate so that I could have that chocolate treat that was actually something healthy and not a granola bar covered in chocolate instead. So that was kind of my main reason, but I had no idea what was in it, the benefits of it. And I have a cold and I feel like my voice is all of a sudden going to go away. I didn't really know more about it until I actually started coaching and wanted to fully be able to share it with other people. And about probably a week after I started drinking it, I noticed a difference in my energy. With getting up that early, I was wanting a nap after work. And still, even if I had a nap, then I would go to bed at like 8 o'clock at night. But after about a week of drinking Shakeology consistently, I remember being outside with my son, and it was winter because it was dark. It was like only 7 o'clock, but it was dark and we were walking in the snow, and I was just like, felt so energized. I couldn't, like, usually I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go to bed, lying on the couch, but we were outside playing, and I just felt so much energy. It was just like, all of a sudden it was just like, I feel good. So that was one of the things that I noticed right off the bat was my energy, and that when I would come home, I would have my shake in the afternoons instead of going through the cupboards. That was helping with my cravings. And so I wasn't exhausted anymore. And the reasons behind that of not being so tired, there's a ton of B vitamins in Shakeology, as well as zinc and magnesium. Those are some of the superfoods, along with maca root. You've probably heard us talk about maca root before, and those all help with energy and stamina. So I never really realized what was giving me that energy until I looked further into the ingredients of Shakeology. Some of the reasons of why you can have your cravings diminished from drinking Shakeology is because of the added protein in Shakeology and chromium. It helps maintain your blood sugar levels, and any amount of protein is going to help you keep you fuller longer. If you're just going to have a salad with greens, you're probably going to be hungrier earlier than if you added protein, chicken or something to it. So just that added protein in Shakeology is going to help you keep you fuller longer. And some people probably, when you're talking to them, probably think that Shakeology has some magic weight loss ingredient in it, and that's why they're scared to drink it. They're like, oh, I don't know if I can drink it or not. But there's not actually any special medicinal weight loss ingredient in there, which is probably a surprise. But it does help with weight loss. And most people replace a meal with Shakeology. So if you were having sugary cereal in the morning, or you were going to the drive-thru and getting a muffin or an egg McMuffin, whatever you were having before you started Shakeology, you're now replacing it with something healthier. So you're taking away all that bad calories, replacing it with good calories. So that's going to help with weight loss, regardless of what you're doing. It's not some special thing in Shakeology. On top of everything else, there's also the detoxifying ingredients, which is also going to help with weight loss. So there's spirulina, chlorella, flaxseed, barley grass, and spinach. So if we go back to all the bad things that you're putting in your body, those are clinging to the inside of your stomach, and all the ingredients, when you start drinking it, it's like a gentle scrub brush. So it's slowly taking out all that bad stuff and releasing it. It's not like as soon as you start drinking Shakeology, you're going to be going to the bathroom like crazy. It's slowly taking everything bad that you have had in there and taking it out. So it's just giving your body an overall cleanse always, as well as helping your cells. And like I said, you're not going to see the results right in a few days. It's going to take a week, and you're going to see it continually over weeks and months, the changes. And some actual testimonies that I have from some of my own customers are lower blood pressure, stronger nails, clear skin. And my brother-in-law actually has it for breakfast, and he's drank it for probably 2 years now. And since the week that he started, he has it for breakfast and he is full until lunch, where before, I'm not sure what he would normally have for breakfast. I'm thinking he probably stopped at like Tim Hortons and got something there. And you would think a English muffin or whatever he was getting would fill him up more than a shake, but it's the ingredients in Shakeology that is keeping him full and satisfied, and the actual nutrients in it that he can last until lunch and be happy with that. And the last thing, if you've ever drinking another shake, I haven't, because Shakeology was the first thing that I had tried. Other shakes have soy, artificial flavors, or an artificial sweeteners, which Shakeology does not have. You do not want those in a shake. It's just added stuff that is not good for you. The soy is a filler, and it could actually make you gain weight from the added soy that they put in different shakes. We are 100% natural, and I think that's all I have to say. Oh my God, you muted.
Yeah. I was looking up some extra ingredient stuff for my little story. So, okay. So with me, I know a lot of people use it more for weight loss. Initially, I guess, as you join in with a group, and if you have not fueled your body with clean food at all, it's going to be like a shock to the system. And of course, you're still getting the same amount of nutrients that you need with the containers, but by adding this in as a meal replacement as well, yes, that's where you're going to end up losing weight. With me, it's more to do with my health and my immunity. I have a disease through my family, and it's called spherocytosis. So it's to do with your spleen. And what that is my blood cells are not like your blood cells, and they are actually round instead of the oval. So that's the sphero part of the word. But what happens was they would get enlarged, and then they'd try to go through my spleen, and in turn they would get all clogged up in there. And so then my spleen would enlarge, and it was almost like a backup in traffic trying to go through, if you want me to explain it like that. And then what would happen is the blood cells would break, and in turn, something in your blood cells causes gallstones. So I had a double dose of an enlarged spleen, not overly throughout my whole life. The doctors had to watch for it. But then in turn, later in life, I started to get all these gallstones. So I had problems with that as well. So it came to a point where the spleen was enlarged enough, not to the point where it would rupture, but I also had my gallbladder enlarged from all these stinking gallstones in there and having pain. So they did the 2-for-1 deal, and I have both my gallbladder and my spleen out. So that has a lot to do with your immunity, because it almost filters the blood as it's going through. So I don't have it anymore, so it really couldn't do that. So when I would get sick, when I would get a cold, when, whatever it may be, I would get it 3 times, 4 times, whatever you want to say. It was terrible. Like, it was, you guys have a cold now, imagine that multiplied by 5, and it would last for weeks, even more so than what a normal cold would last with everybody. I would get the flu shot. I would take the regular multivitamins that us women take, every time that you should be taking. I would take natural pills. Like I would take a garlic pill, that's a natural antibiotic there. I would take extra vitamin C. I would take the extra vitamin D in the winter. I would also go out, and I don't know if you guys remember the cold effects, but there was immunity effects that you could buy. And I would go and buy that $25 bottle and take one of those pills. Like it said, I think you're only supposed to take it really as you felt a cold coming on, just like cold effects. But I ended up taking one a day. Like it was like an extra one a day vitamin, and I'd still get sick. Seriously, it was awful. And it could just be the common cold. It could, but I also had the chance of getting pneumonia. I'd have to get the pneumococcus shot, all that kind of stuff. So when I first started with Beachbody and doing the challenge groups, and then Michelle introduced me to the Shakeology, I thought, why not? Give it 30 days, try it out, see how I feel. And I felt great after the 30 days. I mean, mind you, that was in June, so no real cold and flu season were coming around. And then the winter came along. I can tell you, since I've started Shakeology, I can count on maybe one hand in the 3.5 years, maybe to like 6 times that I've actually either just got the beginnings of a cold, got a little bit of a cold, but then it was gone within 2 to 3 days, if not 4. Like it was just that quick. The one time I went to Cuba, forgot my shakes. I had enough to get me 2 or 3 days, and then I didn't. So, when you're on a plane, you come back and it's like a tin can of a big cough and hacking. Of course, you're going to get sick. So that was that reason. And then another one was, Rob's grandson was around and he was very sick. And of course, kids are like a carrier. They're a sponge for anything sickness. So it happened, I must have been worn down. So in my 3.5 years, it's been kind of a blessing. I haven't taken any multivitamins. I have not taken any natural, like the garlic pills or the vitamin D or C, anything like that. I have not gotten a flu shot, and maybe might be some nurses that might disagree with that, but I've not gotten the flu shot since then. And the pneumococcus, I don't know how often you have to get that for pneumonia, but I've not been sick and I felt great. And to me, the money I would have been spending on all those pills, I hate taking pills to begin with, but if I can have it in the form of a shake and know that I'm getting all those superfoods and nutrients in one glass, I'm willing to invest in my health. And with the immunity, there's all those phytonutrients that are in this shake that are creating that immunity boosting effect that you've got. So that's my story. That's where I come into play with Shakeology, why I love it and why I'll continue to use it. Rob actually had taken daily multivitamins once a day for men, and then he got out of it and he didn't take it for a long time. Well, now this is his multivitamin. I think that's the way we are kind of looking at it, that, whether we pay for the pills to take monthly and then the numerous foods that we can get to try to boost our immune, this is the easiest way to do it. Put it in a shake it up, got her. So that's my story with Shakeology, why it's important to me. Okay, so who would like to go next and share their story?
I'll go next.
Sylvia, yay!
All right, so can you hear me? Okay, obviously. Sorry. So I started Shakeology to lose the baby weight that I was struggling to lose. And within 2 weeks of I started off with the 21-day fix and the Shakeology. 2 weeks into it, I noticed that my Crohn's disease, I can't even explain it. Because I have Crohn's, and it worked wonders. I was going to the washroom normally. I didn't have any more flare-ups. I had no more cramps. I wasn't tired, because when you have Crohn's, you have no energy because your body doesn't absorb your nutrition. So I was noticing that I had the energy. I was full. I didn't before, I struggled to eat because one of the side effects of Crohn's is it takes away your appetite. I was actually hungry, but I was full at the same time, but like I'm explaining, like I felt like I was getting all my nutrition and all my stuff. So I knew I needed to continue with the Shakeology because of my Crohn's. And then 3 months down the road of still drinking it, my doctor took me off some medication because my Crohn's was back in remission. So that was a bonus for me. And then I was also breastfeeding at the time, and I actually noticed that my milk, I was producing more milk. So I don't know if, like, I can't scientifically prove that that was it, but I truly believe that was um, due to the Shakeology and just the fact that my Crohn's is in remission and I don't have flare ups, and the fact that I also haven't been sick since I've drinking Shakeology. Like maybe I've been sick 2 or 3 times, but it hasn't been to the degree of having to be hospitalized or having to be in bed sick, like hovering over. And the fact that I'm full of energy and I'm able to play with my son is something that I just can't. I really recommend people with Crohn's and people with immune issues to drink Shakeology because it works wonders on your system. So that's my story, and also it helps the when I have a lot of chocolate cravings, which I usually do during my time of the month. Those Shakeology balls and microwave cake that you can do with the Shakeology is phenomenal. So not only do you can drink it and feel full, it also you can make other recipes with it, and it can, like, instead of going for a chocolate bar, I can just have something that I can just throw in the microwave, and it's gonna satisfy me because like I love drinking the shake, but sometimes I need more than the shake. Like I need the balls, or I need like a muffin, not a muffin, sorry, like a you put in the microwave, follow recipe, and you eat it so you feel like you're eating junk, and it's actually really, really good for you. So that's my story.
Awesome. don't think I've ever really actually like heard your full story about your Crohn's and everything. So that's awesome. And you should share that all the time with people.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Well, just remember there could be one other girl out there that just is going through exactly what you went through, and that could be the girl that you help. So
True.
it is nerve-wracking. Yes, totally get it, putting ourselves out there, but pretend like when you post that you're talking to one of us. All right. Jen, you want to go next?
Yep, I can.
Cool.
Okay, so I've been watching Justine and everybody for so long, and I pretty much went through every excuse in the book not to invest in the Shakeology and all the programs and everything. But specifically about the Shakeology, I've always been interested in healthier alternatives to things, and always tried like all the different protein shakes, and I always just felt like they were a waste of money because I never really felt like I got results or felt different from them or anything like that. I think a lot of it was kind of just in my head. And then, so I finally, when I got pregnant with my second son, I was like, this time I need to lose the baby weight afterwards, but I need to be motivated because I knew it was going to be hard with a toddler and a new baby, and I knew it was just going to be hard. So I was like, I need all the motivation I can get. So I thought I'm going to invest in it, and I'll just try it out and see if I like it and see if there's any differences. So I waited until after I had him and after my milk supply came in, and that was all normal and stuff. And then I started working out shortly after, and I started to notice changes, and I had so much energy even though I was hardly sleeping. And I felt good and everything was normal, and I swear it was all because of drinking Shakeology. Like, I wasn't eating well by any means, but I was drinking that shake every day, and I'm positive that that's what made the difference for me. And another thing, it was the motivation. that I got to drink this cool shake that was actually good for me, but tasted so good. Tasted like it was so bad, but it really was really good for me. And that was one of the treats for me. And like Sylvia, I make those little Shakeology balls every single week. I make those, and those are the only reason that I'm not buying cookies, is because those cookie dough balls are amazing. They're so good. So yeah, and Hudson loves them, and they're good for you. And also Jay started drinking Shakeology also. He never ate breakfast. He would just off to work and would eat till like lunch, like 1 or 2. And so he started drinking Shakeology and noticed that he didn't have that afternoon kind of slum. He wasn't morning. He doesn't drink coffee, so he was always dragging and just didn't feel very good. So he started drinking it also, and like within a couple weeks started noticing he had a decent amount of energy, and in the afternoon wasn't tired and dragging all afternoon and stuff. So he's definitely seen the effects as well. So yeah, that's pretty much my far and feeling good. And all the sweets that it's made me not eat is a bonus for sure.
That's awesome. It's good when you can get the people that you live with to do it as well, because then they're not just like, oh, it's all in your head. You're just you're just doing it. When they actually can see the benefits as well, then it makes it even better.
Yeah.
Okay, who do we have? Michelle's running around. Do we have Marlene? Michelle, you want to go? Are you busy?
I'm just getting milk from my son.
Okay.
I don't really know what to say, except I remember when I first started really considering doing Beachbody. Sylvia, I had told her I'm not interested in the shakes, like right off the bat, because I remember my husband always like wanting me to try his. He does protein shakes every day, and I just did not like the texture, like at all. Doesn't matter what flavor it was, I never liked it. And then so when I started with Sylvia, she convinced me to get them. I'm like, why not? I'm gonna give it a try. So I remember like having my first one, and it was vanilla. And my husband's like, you have to drink that all at once. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna drink it, And it just tasted really good. Like, I think I just had it plain. And I was like, wow, I could get used to this. So every day it's like I like them even more. And then once I started finding like recipes like for desserts that you can make with the shakes, that's what really sold me, because I have a big sweet tooth. So for me, like I like having my shake actually at 3:00 in the afternoon. If I don't have it in the morning, I like having it in the afternoon, because that's when I crave like chocolate and stuff. So like I really, really like the taste of it. Like, and I didn't expect to, and I didn't want to, because I thought it was a little expensive in the beginning, of course, and I just didn't want to like it. But I do, and I do believe it gives me more energy, and I really enjoy it. So I even had my husband try it, and he liked it too. So maybe I'll convince him to get some too. So yeah, that's my story, really.
Well, that's awesome. No, and like we said with, Jen too, it's not, it's a matter of, with the men, it's just, you kind of put it out there, and if they like it, then they'll go with it, kind of thing. Because I'm afraid
it was their idea.
good for them to eat.
Yeah. Well, the first time, like I told my husband how much it was, he's like, well, mine only costs $80. Why is yours so expensive? So yeah, I have to sell him a little bit more on it. So.
Well, and that's the thing. I think a lot of ladies or people misjudge that this is just a protein shake. And with that, you got to think, well, are you protein deficient that you need the extra protein? I think it's just been something in social media that drink a protein shake, protein smoothie, right? Just to fill you up. But it's everything else that's kind of in with Shakeology, the superfoods, the nutrients in there, that it's super dense. It's just like looking at our food list when we're going through and making our meal plans. The first half of those meal or food lists, those foods are the most nutrient dense, which means that they are full of vitamins and nutrients. So that keeps you full longer, but yet it has less calories. So looking there's something too. You almost have to look at, whatever they may be taking to see the difference in the ingredients, with the calories, with the sugars, with all that other kind of stuff that they could be adding in there. Where I know with Shakeology, it's something that's a lot more natural stuff in there. I don't even know, they have a few, medicinal ingredients or non-medicinal down at the bottom that I'd have to look at again. But the foods today, and there's another thing, girls, the foods today are not like they were 15, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The food we eat today does not have the nutrients in it that I kind of coincide it with us as having this is our fuel tank. This is our car. You're filling up the fuel tank. Well, it's not getting a full tank to run at high octane here. You just can never get enough of the nutrients that our body needs to be at the full level, right? So this is what Shakeology does, is it tops that up. So, Justine, do you have anything to add to that?
The one thing about when Michelle said that she didn't think that she would like it, so many people, after they try it for the first time, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good it was. And I'm like, I'm not lying. In all my posts, when I enjoy drinking it, I wouldn't drink it if I didn't also enjoy it. Like, it's just funny that I think people think that we're trying to sell it to them and that we're trying to say, yeah, it tastes good, but no, it actually does. And so when, most of the time I get people messaging me saying, oh wow, it really does taste good. But yeah, it does.
That's the bonus, that it can taste good. There's maybe rarity that maybe people just aren't into the shakes, or they just don't like the texture, and we've come across that too, and it's just not for them, which is, it's too bad, because they're not getting their full nutrients that their body could have to make them have the more energy, to give them, the skin and the hair and everything. When you're putting good stuff in your body thanks you for it, and it just gives you everything else back. It's like we should ask Marlene about her Shakeology story. Marlene, can you hear us? There she is.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very new to Shakeology. I tried it probably 2 years ago, and I didn't stick with it, and I actually ended up giving the bag to my sister. And then when I saw Jen had started a challenge group, and we have babies just a day apart, so I thought, I'll give it another shot. And so I got it late for this challenge group, so I've only had it a handful of times, but I do find that I have more energy, and when I do drink it, I feel like it's encouraging me more to do the workout, which then in turn makes me feel even better too. So I didn't really like it plain, so I've been trying to switch it up with some different recipes and stuff, but I definitely feel a change already, and I've only had it a few days. So
that's awesome. And do you use a blender to make it?
Yeah, with ice.
Yeah, that's key. Some people, when they have it for the first time, they just shake it up. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You need a blender for the first little while. Now I can, after drinking it for almost 3 years, I can shake it up for sure in water, but blender is key if you really want to enjoy it.
Yeah, and I even feel like I've already, how it tasted 5 days ago versus how it tastes now, I feel like it's already getting better.
Yeah. It's an acquired taste. Like a protein powder, it does have a specific texture to it. And just for me, I think about all the good things that are in it. Okay, even if it does taste a little bit weird, the benefits outweigh the weirdness of it.
Yeah. It's definitely getting better, that's for sure. So I can only imagine in a few more weeks what it'll taste like. So
yeah, that's good.
That's awesome. No, and I posted in the app today. I found this information online, and I found it very interesting too, that now we're in the cold and flu season, could get stuff going on with your throat, and then you get on antibiotics, right? So it's basically did you know that 1 week long course of taking antibiotics can actually damage your gut health and, whatever effects that it's having for up to a year after you've taken that week long bout of antibiotics. And basically, she kind of went on to say, not that antibiotics are a bad thing, because we do need them, but it's the effects on them. But it's saying they attack the bad bacteria, but they also will go on to the good ones, because they don't know the difference between bad and good, bacteria. So they do that. And then that creates an imbalance in your guts. Like you keep hearing, like I know Shailene Johnson talks about your gut health a lot. You hear a lot about gut health. And then Sylvia can probably attest into this too with her Crohn's, how having that gut health is vital to carrying on your daily, everyday things. So basically, it goes on to say about the gut health that, it's you have to take antibiotics, whatever, but that Shakeology, there's a lot of stuff in it. There's benefits in it that actually, it's loaded with natural, soluble, and insoluble fiber, high quality probiotics that actually survive the stomach acid exposure and make it into the gut to grow new bacteria. And all this shitload of stuff that's just one little thing that it can help with too. That we keep saying all these other things, but like the more we dive into the ingredients and what they actually can do for a person, whether it's for the gut, for your hair, for skin. I had a challenger that was pre-diabetic, and she needed to lose some weight and stuff, and like literally from her doctor, she was this close on having to go on insulin and whatnot. She did the Shakeology and the workouts. She did it for a month, went back to the doctor. I think it was more than a month, but the symptoms were gone. She was no longer pre-diabetic. It just, and each story is different. And if you want to, research a little more about stuff, YouTube is wonderful. There's tons of people like you or me that are on there sharing their story and what effect it has had on them, or how it has benefited them. So yeah, it's a great thing. As we've all been saying tonight, it's an awesome thing to have that helps with our nutrition, and our health. Okay. Anybody else have anything to add in about Shako?
I was going to say one thing, actually. I had Shakeology for a full month, like when I first started it, and then I didn't have it for the next month, or I think the month after that, and I felt a huge difference not having it. So that's why I decided I need this. Like, I got to keep going with this. So
what kind of differences did you feel, Michelle?
Sluggish and very and then I was eating like I wanted junk, whereas the shakes would satisfy my sweet craving. So, and I just felt better. I don't know if it was psychological or anything, but I did notice a big difference. And I tell people that,
oh yeah.
Share that for sure. And a lot of people they'll cancel after the first month, and then they'll come back and be like, okay, I felt a difference. Like you said, you noticed it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Good. Well, I'm glad we had a little chat about this, because I know from when I first started, I didn't really look into all the ingredients as much as maybe I could have or should have, just knowing with my lack of immunity and needing something like this, that didn't know that this was even out there. And, I'd rather take a shake over a pill any day. So, and obviously you girls do too. So that's great. So I'm going to stop recording because I think we're good. So